Hello, welcome to my channel StuckFiles. Today we will discuss about why it sucks to be a tight end in a run-first offense. You work like a lineman. You run like a receiver. You memorize the playbook like a quarterback. And still, most people forget you exist. Welcome to the life of a tight end. Specifically, a tight end in a run-first offense. You're the most versatile player on the field. But in this system, you're mostly just a glorified blocker. All the skill, all the grind, and barely any shine. Every time you line up, the defense knows it's going to be a run. And they know you're the poor soul trying to seal the edge, pancake a linebacker, or chip a defensive end. Your stat line? 1 catch. Maybe, if the game script allows. You're good enough to run routes. Fast enough to stretch the seam. Strong enough to win in the red zone. But the playbook barely gives you a glance. Because when your offense runs the ball 70% of the time, your routes become optional. Your value is buried under power schemes and stretch runs. And when people talk about the offense clicking, they mention the line. They praise the back. They maybe, thank the fullback. But the tight end, you're just assumed to be doing your job. No credit, no spotlight, no celebración. And God help you if you miss a block. Then suddenly, everyone knows your name. Suddenly, you're the reason the 3rd and 2 didn't convert. You're the reason the QB got sacked. But when the block is perfect, the hole is wide open, you vanish from memory again. That's what sucks the most. You do everything and get remembered for nothing. In this video, we're going to break down why it's brutal to be a tight end in a run-first offense. The invisibility, the thankless work, the physical abuse, and the constant feeling that your actual skill set is being wasted. It's the most unglamorous role in football's most unglamorous system. And yet, you have to play it like a pro, like a warrior, like someone who believes they'll matter, even when they won't. Because in a run-first offense, the tight end doesn't shine. He survives. Let's talk about it. Section 1. The Disappearing Act. You train to catch passes, run routes, score touchdowns. But in a run-first offense, you're just an extra blocker. You line up next to the tackle. Every snap, you're bracing for contact. A defensive end here, a blitzing linebacker there. Your job? Seal the edge, clear the path, and vanish from the play. You're not the first read, or the second, sometimes not even considered. Even when you're open, the ball never comes. They drafted you for your hands. They use you for your body. And when the announcers talk offense, they mention the O-line, the running back, maybe the fullback, never the tight end, unless you miss a block. Then it's your fault. You don't get targets. You don't get stats, but you do get all the bruises. You're a receiver with no receptions, a lineman with no credit, a hybrid built for highlights, stuck doing grunt work. You know you're better than this, but the scheme doesn't care. Because in a run-first world, you're not a weapon. You're a tool. Section 2, the forgotten weapon. You were built to be a mismatch. Too fast for linebackers. Too strong for safeties. But in this system, you're just background. You've worked on your craft, polished your releases, sharpened your cuts, perfected your catch radius, and none of it matters because they don't call your number. They don't draw up plays for you. You're the last name in the playbook. The play action is supposed to free you up, but the quarterback rarely looks. He's already dumping it off or handing it off again. You run clean routes. No body notices. You flash open on 3rd down. They throw short of the sticks. It's not that you're invisible. You're ignored. Every game, you feel it. You jog back to the huddle thinking, why am I even running these routes? You start to doubt yourself. Am I not good enough? Am I not trusted? Do they even want me involved? But the truth is, they build a system that doesn't need you. Not the real you. Not the vertical threat. Not the reliable hands. Not the chess piece you were meant to be. You're a Ferrari being used to tow a trailer. And when the media asks why the tight end isn't producing, They don't point at the playbook. They point at you. You got to step up. You got to find a way to get open. You are open. You always were. But in a run-heavy scheme, there's no spotlight, only shadows. Section 3. All the hits, none of the headlines. You take punishment like a lineman, but you don't get treated like one. They expect you to block 280-pound edge rushers. Hold your ground against blitzing linebackers. Finish plays with leverage and grit. But when it's time for credit, your name's never mentioned. You're not in the trenches enough to be respected like a lineman. Not catching enough passes to be seen as a weapon. You're stuck in no man's land. And the hits? They come hard. They come often. And they come from both directions. You're too far outside to get help from the guard. Too close inside to avoid the chaos. Every time the run gets stuffed, they look at your edge. Every time the back breaks loose, it's great job, O-line. You're a body on the field, not a name, not a role. And yet, you still go back out there. Snap after snap, collision after collision. Why? Because tight ends don't complain. Tight ends just grind, even when their bodies are screaming, even when they haven't caught a pass in 2 weeks. The trainers wrap your wrist, ice your knee, patch you up so you can keep blocking. But there's no highlight for a seal block, no replay for a good chip. You're invisible until you screw up. And then, the announcers remember your name. The fans remember your jersey number. Missed assignment by the tight end. Needs to be more physical at the point of attack. It's never, look how he created space. Look how he protected his QB. You take all the hits, all the risk, all the wear and tear. But the headlines? They're for someone else. Section 4. Trapped in the scheme. You didn't choose the system, but you're stuck in it. You signed thinking you'd be featured. Balanced offense. Creative playbook. A real role. But once the season starts, the truth hits hard. Run, run, run. And maybe a check down on 3rd and 8. You see other tight ends thriving. Racking up red zone targets. Breaking off 20-yard gains. You know you could do that. You've done it before. In college. In flashes during preseason. But not here. Here, your puzzle piece forced into the wrong spot. They talk about scheme fit, but they ignore your strengths. You watch film of yourself just blocking. Over and over. No targets. No chances. And still, you have to stay ready. Still run every route full speed. Still practice red zone drills you'll never use. Because the moment you stop, you're labeled lazy, unreliable. So you play the game. You fake excitement in meetings. You act like your one target a game is enough. You clap for the run game. You celebrate others' touchdowns. But deep down, you're frustrated. You're stalling. You're wasting your prime. Because no matter how talented you are, this system doesn't care. It's built to move the chains, not feature tight ends. So you do your job, but you know you're meant for more. You're not just underused. You're trapped. Section 5. Stats don't tell your story. The box score makes you look irrelevant. 1 catch, 6 yards, no touchdowns, but it doesn't show the dozen blocks you made. The blitz you picked up, the linebacker you erased on 3rd and short. It doesn't show how many times you ran the right route and never got the ball. Fans check your numbers and say, this guy's not producing. Analysts call you a disappointment. Fantasy owners forget you exist. But they don't see the grind. They don't see the bruises. They don't see the silent contributions that keep the offense alive. You're doing everything right and getting nothing for it. You watch the game film. You know you played well. Your coach knows it too. But no one else cares. Because in football, perception matters. And production is perception. You could block perfectly all game and still get benched next year. Why? Because they want numbers. They want highlights. They want fantasy points. And that's not your job in this system. You're the unsung hero, the forgotten cog, the one who makes others look good while fading into the background. It eats at you. You know you're good. You know you could do more. But the tape doesn't trend. The box score lies, and nobody rewatches your blocks. All they see is one catch, 6 yards, no touchdowns. As we deeply discussed everything in all 5 sections, so now you know type, and we're meant to be game changers. Matchup nightmares, versatile weapons, but in a run-first offense, you're just another gear in the machine. You train like a receiver. You block like a lineman. You carry the responsibilities of both, but get the recognition of neither. You sacrifice your body. You silence your ego. You bury your potential, all in the name of the system. Every week, you give everything, but get almost nothing back. No highlights, no numbers, no buzz. And somehow, you're still expected to be grateful because you're helping the team. Because real football isn't about stats. But deep down, you want to matter. You want to show what you can do. You want to be more than a 6th lineman. You want the ball. You want the spotlight. You want a chance. Not for fame, but for validation. Because the worst feeling in sports is knowing you're capable of more and never getting the chance to prove it. That's what makes this role so brutal. Not the hits, not the dirty work, but the slow erosion of belief. Belief in your value. Belief in your future. Belief in yourself. Because if the game won't see your worth, eventually you start to wonder if it's even there. So here's to the tight and stuck in the trenches. Built like weapons. Used like shields. You might not make the highlight reel, but you make the offense work. And one day, when a scheme finally opens up, you'll be ready. Because you were always more than just a blocker, even if no one else saw it.